Good morning. This is Chloe Dawn, sitting in with Giovanni Gallucci and Rachel Donovan, and this is the Daily Trend Report.
Morning, Chloe.
Morning, you two. Drove in with the windows down before the heat set in. West Texas gives you 1 good hour a day in June, and that was it.
Better grab it while it lasts. Coffee's poured, so let's get to it. Today, the weight loss wave quietly rewriting the grocery cart, the Park Service going quiet on who's getting hurt out on the trail, and fresh data that says a real person with a phone beats your glossy brand spot. Chloe, you start us off.
Jayme's report kept circling one number this morning. Oral GLP-1s are expanding the user base fast, and the cart is changing right along with it. People on these drugs buy less and they buy different. Smaller portions, more protein, less of the middle aisle.
So the appetite shrinks and the whole basket reshapes.
Right, and the big food companies are panicking in two directions at once. Either shrink the package or bolt a GLP-1 companion label onto the same processed thing they already sell.
That second one's the tell. A shrink ray and a new sticker isn't a product, it's a press release.
And this is where I'd set the drug itself to the side. However you feel about the medication, leave that alone. The cart is moving regardless, and the only question for an operator is who the shopper trusts to feed them now.
And a clean label brand already speaks this language. Whole food, real protein, a portion that makes sense. You don't need a lab and a reformulation budget. You need to show how a real person actually eats now.
Here's where most brands fumble it. They chase the trend with a hashtag and a stock photo of a salad, and the shopper scrolls right on by.
Because it isn't believable. The honest version is a real customer on camera. A day of eating, the actual plate, the actual portion. Not a chef. A person who shops the way your buyer shops.
That's the same instinct we keep landing on. Show the use. Let the person carry it, not the package.
And there's a worldview here worth saying out loud. The giants spent a decade engineering food so you'd eat more of it. Now the tide is turning toward eating less and eating real, and they're scrambling to catch a wave they bet against.
The independent brand bet right almost by accident, just by making honest food the whole time. So take the lap, quietly. Let the customer say it for you.
And it's a series, not one post. Different customer, different plate, every couple of weeks. You build a feed that looks like the people who actually eat your stuff.
And it recruits. The shopper who sees herself in that reel sends it to her sister before she ever buys. That's a recommendation you can't run as an ad.
Think a quarter out too. String those real customer days into a library people search when they're figuring out how to eat on a smaller appetite. You become the brand that helped, not the brand that sold.
The trap is making it clinical. Nobody wants a macro chart at breakfast. They want a plate that looks good and a person who looks like them.
And keep it honest. You're not a doctor and you're not promising an outcome. You're showing food and a way of eating. Let the plate do the talking. Okay, 3 quick takeaways before we move on.
1. Run a real customer day of eating series. Actual shoppers, actual plates, actual portions. And let it run every couple of weeks instead of a one-off.
2. Build a savable plate and portion carousel for the smaller appetite shopper. Make it the thing people send a friend, and measure sends and saves, not likes.
3. Seed a little community around how people actually eat now and let your customers carry it. A point of view on real food beats a companion sticker every time.
Eddie's report caught the one I couldn't shake. The Interior Department reportedly told the Park Service to go quiet on deaths and serious injuries in the parks. Several recent ones never got reported at all.
So the public land you're hiking just got harder to read.
That's the part that gets me. People learn a trail from other people's mistakes. A bad creek crossing, a heat call that went wrong, a route that looks fine on the map and isn't. Take that information away, and the trail gets more dangerous, not less.
And it's the working recreator who pays for it. The family that drove 12 hours. The first-timer who doesn't know what they don't know.
Here's the worldview, plain. When an agency decides you don't get to know how people are getting hurt on your own land, somebody else has to tell it straight. And that somebody can be a brand that actually knows the ground.
That's the opening. Gear brands, guides, outfitters, the people who live on these trails. You step into the gap the agency just left, and you give people the real conditions.
And most brands won't because it's easier to film a sunset in a tent and call it outdoor content.
A sunset doesn't keep anybody alive. The honest version is harder and a lot better. Here's what actually goes wrong on this trail in July. Here's the water situation right now. Here's the crossing that's killed people. And here's how you read it.
And that's the content that gets saved and sent. Nobody forwards a brochure. Everybody forwards the thing that might save their buddy a bad day.
There's something Larry McMurtry about it. No drama, no scare campaign. Just a person who knows the country telling you straight what the country will do to you if you get careless.
And you put the right face on it. Not a spokesperson, the local guide, the ranger who retired, the outfitter who's pulled people off that mountain. Real knowledge, real miles.
And it ages into an asset. A real conditions guide to a trail works for years because the river still floods every spring and the heat still comes every July.
Tag the place, not just the park. The region, the trailhead, the season. That's what makes it findable for the person typing a nervous question at midnight before the drive.
And it builds the kind of trust a discount never will. You're the account that told them the truth before they got hurt. People don't unfollow that.
A quarter out, you turn it into a franchise. One trail, one honest breakdown, a new one every couple of weeks, until you own the real story of a whole region.
The trap is turning it into fear bait. You're not selling panic. You're handing people competence so they come home. Lead with respect for the country, not dread.
And let the community add to it. Somebody comments that the spring dried up, you pin it. The feed becomes the thing the agency stopped being. 3 things you can actually do with that today.
1. Start an honest, real conditions series for the trails you know. What goes wrong, what the water's doing, how to read the dangerous spot, told straight.
2. Put a real local on camera, the guide or the retired ranger, not a spokesperson. Real miles read as real, and that's what gets saved and sent.
3. Make the honest pre-trip breakdown the thing you're known for. Tag the region and the season so the nervous first-timer finds you at midnight, and you become the source the agency stopped being. Clark's report had the story I think operators have waited years for somebody to actually measure. New IAB and billion-dollar boy data put hard numbers on it. Creator content is beating brand-led ads on the things that pay rent.
Finally, numbers instead of vibes.
19% lower cost per acquisition, 13% higher click-through. And the one that should stop you cold, lead with the brand or the product too early, and you cut your view-through rate by 44%.
So the logo in the first 3 seconds isn't a safety play. It's a tax.
That's exactly it, and there's more. Showing the product in actual use beats saying this is amazing by 33% on brand favorability. Demonstration beats declaration, with a number on it now.
Which is everything I've been saying. The stiff, polished spot reads as a commercial, and people are trained to skip a commercial.
Here's the worldview, and it's the best news a small operator has gotten all year. A believable person with a phone now outconverts a Fortune 500's glossy spot. The giant can buy the reach. It can't buy being believed.
That's the gap that doesn't close with money. I can shoot a real drive on a real road and it lands. A studio recreating that just looks like a studio.
So the first thing is a recut. Pull your top brand posts and slide the product reveal to after the hook, not the first frame. Earn the watch, then show the thing.
And shoot the use, not the pitch. A real hand, a real kitchen, the product doing its job. Stop sanding the believability off it in the edit.
Second is the spend. Find your best performing organic post, the one that already proved people care, and put your paid budget behind that instead of a spot built in a conference room.
You're amplifying something that's already true, instead of manufacturing something and praying.
And the third one is structural. Stop running one-off sponsorships. Build a small standing roster, 3 to 5 creators you work with all the time, and treat it like a channel you operate, not a buy you rent.
Cannondale just did exactly that, the cycling brand. Killed a 30-year factory race team to stand up a roster of racers and creators built for reach instead of podiums.
A legacy brand admitting the reach matters more than the trophy. That's the tell. The roster is the new team.
And the creator's edge is the part a giant can't manufacture, which is a real point of view.
The trap is handing creators the keys with no direction. The data rewards a creator's delivery, not a creator's chaos. Give them a clear point of view, then get out of the way.
And measure the right thing. Sends, saves, booked calls. Not the like count that made everybody feel good and sold nothing.
Here's what to actually do with all of that. 1. Recut your top posts so the product reveal lands after the hook, never in the first 3 seconds.
2. Shoot the use, not the pitch. Demonstrate the product in a real hand in a real place, because that beats declaring it's great.
3. Build a standing roster of 3 to 5 creators, then put paid behind your best organic post instead of a spot built in a conference room.
That's the report. If today's data lit a fire, this is the part where I tell you it's what I do. I'm Giovanni Gallucci, and the content stack behind this show, the short-form video, the carousels, the real-person work that actually converts, I build it for outdoor and clean label brands and operators betting on themselves. If you want a feed that sounds like a person instead of a press release, let's talk. Gallucci.net or DM at GallucciNet on Instagram or LinkedIn. Talk tomorrow.